But South Carolina, like, that is a good freaking state. Like, think of it, to not lock South Carolina in.
Land moves fast there. Subdividing's relatively easy. Georgia does have the new laws, Dan, as far as for direct mail, where
Too many people have left because of that little freaking law. And I think people have gone away from Georgia, and I think people got to get back in Georgia.
Oklahoma, Texas, I love both of these states. There are 8-figure businesses, flipping businesses, subdividing businesses that are being done solely in Texas.
Hey everyone, and welcome back to the show. A couple episodes, guys, we did the worst states to do land investing in. Today's episode, we're going to do the top 10 states to do this business model. And I'm excited. This was a fun episode. We planned nothing. I got a map up and we're just going to talk through it. So excited to be here, Ron.
Yeah, I enjoyed that episode. We got good feedback on that episode. A lot of people are often asking us, like, market selection. You talked about this last time. Market selection is a huge thing. I think sometimes it is perceived to have too much. It gets too much attention, to be honest with you. But that being said, today we're going to try to get you guys a list of the top 10 states to do land flipping in, our business model, everything like that. This might be a little harder, Dan. I don't know. Like, I feel like
we can eliminate 15 off the rip.
Yeah, 100%. So we can go over those worst 10 that we did, like Dan said, a few episodes ago. So the worst 10 was Idaho, Montana, North Dakota, South Dakota, Wyoming, Illinois, Iowa, Rhode Island, Delaware, Connecticut. And then kind of the next, it looks like I have another 8 to 10 or so, Dan.
You got to go through those again. I think they're going to be. I watched the past episode too, guys, if you haven't. But yeah, we pretty much eliminated a lot in the Northeast, like Rhode Island, Delaware, Connecticut, Rhode Island. I said that. New Jersey. A lot of the Northeast, just because of our experience with the business and how small the counties are and how, it's just hard to buy and flip land in those areas from what we've seen. And then we eliminated some of the central areas, North Dakota and South Dakota. I feel like you guys can guess why. It's just not a great place to do this business. And then we eliminated Montana and Wyoming and Idaho, which are just those states that are very, they're desirable, expensive land, but they're just very hard to do this business model, Ron.
Yeah, and the reason being, we talked about that, the reason being is like, just it's hard to get deals. Like, there's not a lot of highly desirable areas. If you can find land in the most desirable, it's all like, you have very, very rich people buying land in Bozeman, Montana, and Billings, Montana, and Cheyenne, Wyoming. But that being said, as far as like being able to flip land there, it's not really very feasible, to be honest. So we had those 10, Dan. I said them. You want me to list everything we have a little slower?
No, I think we're good, and they can watch that last episode.
Okay, cool. All right, so where do you want to start here, Dan? Like, we can talk about regions again. You almost have to do process elimination, go the opposite way, in my opinion. I have about 20 on my list as far as not the best, for sure. But that being said, like, we can talk about where we've done business a lot, for sure, where other people, but
it's more like what we're seeing.
Yeah. Let's go Southeast, Dan, because Southeast is definitely a common area to do this business. We talked about Florida a lot the episode when we talked about worst. We weren't going to say Florida was one of the worst states. We thought initially it might be one of the worst 10, but
until we saw North and South Dakota.
Yeah, until we got out into those clusters of really bad areas. So Florida is not going to be in the top 10, but the other Southeast states we have, Dan, Alabama, you could put Mississippi, Georgia, North Carolina, South Carolina, Tennessee. Arkansas, maybe even. Arkansas is probably not Southeast.
No, that's not South. Don't include Arkansas there.
Mississippi is not either, actually. So let's go Alabama, Georgia, North Carolina, South Carolina, Tennessee, Mississippi. Okay, that's fine. Mississippi, Alabama.
You say Kentucky in there too?
I did not. That's not Southeast.
Oh, you said Southeast. I thought you just said South.
Yeah, Southeast. Okay. Let's just put those in a cluster real fast. In my opinion, like, and we're trying to find the best 10, so this is going to be kind of difficult.
You didn't say North Carolina?
I did say North Carolina.
South?
Yes.
Tennessee?
Yes.
Okay, got it.
Georgia. I think we can cross Mississippi out of there, Dan, as being a top 10.
Yeah, I think Mississippi, Alabama, Louisiana.
Mississippi, Alabama?
Yeah.
Alabama's like I feel like Alabama has a little more potential, to be honest with you.
I feel like that's like 10 to 15.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Keep that there, though, because we might come back to that. Let's see.
Yeah, hold on. All right, so Georgia, this is going to be a little more difficult for sure. But Georgia, North Carolina, Georgia does have the new laws, Dan, as far as for direct mail, where it does, like, you have to be very blunt. Like, this is an under market value offer, essentially. So if you're mailing Georgia, it can be very, very difficult. The pros about Georgia is Georgia has unbelievable quality of land. And
and a variety of landscapes.
yeah, based on our success in Georgia, it's going to be hard for me to keep this off our list, Dan.
I think we can lock Georgia in.
Okay,
it's
so
not
you think
our experience; it's our students' experience, and we've had thousands and thousands of people come through. This
That's
isn't
fair.
just from our business; it's from what we see in the market. And I think Georgia, without a doubt, is on that list. And I think people have gone away from Georgia, and I think people got to get back in Georgia.
Okay, that's a strong statement. I'm looking
Too
forward
many
to
people
seeing.
have left because of
It's
that little
fun.
freaking law.
There's a
on.
so what I love about Georgia, like, yeah, the mail law, and a lot of people aren't mailing anymore. But that being said, what I like about Georgia is, one, the quality of the land. Two, the land moves relatively fast. Like, it's not the highest volume of land selling or buying or everything like that, but it moves relatively fast, even in the rural areas.
People are
and
not in
also
Georgia
like,
anymore.
huh?
People aren't in Georgia anymore.
100%. The competition isn't crazy. Might be after this episode. But that being said, like, subdivide regulations are also very, very, like, lenient. Most of the land has road frontage, which that's what I loved about Georgia when we were doing business in it before AI filters with getting road frontage out of there in the land portal. But what I loved about Georgia was, like, the land was just so good. Like, it was just such good land everywhere, other than North Georgia where you had a lot
And
of
it
slope.
sold fast.
100%.
That's the biggest thing
loved
that I
it.
care
Like,
about. Like, you want to sell land quick. I said in the last episode when we did the worst states to buy land in, I said the number one thing I want to look at is how fast this land's selling, and I'd rather buy a parcel for 70% of market value in a hot area than 25% in a slow area. Just because you know you're going to sell it fast, it's a lot more fun of a process as well. But let's keep moving, Ron. So we got South Carolina and North Carolina next,
And Tennessee.
and Tennessee and Alabama.
Of those, so South Carolina recently put a a wholesaling law out where it makes it much more difficult to wholesale land or wholesale any properties. That is the only thing that makes me hesitant on South Carolina. People have made their business again in South Carolina. Like, a lot of people have made their entire business out of South Carolina. That does, and I know there's some ways, and I don't want to talk about ways to get around that law for double closing or something like that, but I don't think it's as strict on double closing. But that being said, I'm a little hesitant to put South Carolina in there at this second, locked in, because of that.
Yeah, I don't know though.
Tennessee, I would lock in.
Tennessee, I'll lock in, no doubt.
Tennessee,
But
not
South
as
Carolina,
high.
like, that is a good freaking state.
Yeah,
Like, think of it, to not lock South Carolina in. Historical
True.
South Carolina. I mean, what changed? Double closing laws, but we can get
land
around
moves
that.
fast there.
It is.
Subdividing's relatively easy there.
Land's nice.
Quality land. Yeah, I agree. I'm gonna put South Carolina up there with the other three. North Carolina, I'm not as big of a fan of North Carolina as some people. I think it'll probably end up being in there, Dan, when we're all said and done doing this. But that being said, I don't want to lock North Carolina in at
Yeah,
this second.
it's just North Carolina gets very rural very fast, and then you have the mountains, which can be tough, and then you have coastal, which can also be tough, and in the middle can get very rural.
There's a
and slow
pocket
fast.
of really, really good counties, but there's
when you get to the good counties, though, North Carolina has a chance to be in here for sure. But let's keep moving. Put it next to the list because this is definitely in the top echelon. Even if it's not the top 10, I would definitely target North Carolina.
and you those are head and shoulders above Alabama and Mississippi in your opinion.
Yes, because of the speed, the desirability.
Okay, so I have those. So I have South Carolina, Tennessee, and Georgia locked in as 3 of our top 10 states. Again, this could change as we go through the episode. I have North Carolina on the border of being locked in, and then Alabama, Mississippi past that. We crossed off Florida down there, guys.
Alabama and Mississippi aren't far off though. We can see what we come out with.
We're crossing out Louisiana, which was close to being in our bottom 10, which is down there as well. Let's go. Where do you want to go, Dan? Northeast, guys. I just don't think there's too much going on up there, in my opinion. The one up there, like if you talk about New York and Pennsylvania, Dan, the other ones, when you talk about Rhode Island, Vermont, New Hampshire, Maine, all those up there, I would cross out in terms of being top 10. I think Pennsylvania and New York, especially upstate New York, a lot of people do business. They can definitely have a conversation.
Yeah, I think so too. From what I've seen, people do a lot of deals in both of these. New York is people crush it in, but Pennsylvania, Ron, that's a tough one to say no. It's not in the top 10.
I think that's right in there with North Carolina right now. I want to get our list of like second tier, Dan. Hopefully we can lock in a couple
I don't know
more
if
here.
PA
Right?
is second tier, but that's. I mean, from what we've seen on people doing deals successfully in areas, PA is definitely up there.
Yeah. So you think PA above North Carolina?
I would put no, it's right there. Those are good.
Okay,
those
that's
are
what I
both
mean.
good.
Yes, okay, so that's like second tier. That's what I'm saying. We have 3 that are locked in. We have 3 that are second tier. North Carolina, PA. New York's probably a little bit below those 2,
I
right?
would put New York probably in like the 15 to no, probably 12 to 18 range, somewhere in there.
Got it. Okay, cool. All right, let's keep rolling here. So Midwest, let's scoot over. So Northeast, we have PA and New York, which are on the border. Pennsylvania, a little higher. Just so many deals there. It's so much land. Pennsylvania, which keeps me from locking that in right now, is like there are some really, really slow areas. Even if you're close to Pittsburgh, you're close to decent areas. Pennsylvania can be really slow. I don't want to skip out here, Dan, on Virginia and West Virginia, because I don't think, like, if you comparing those to New York, especially, I would rather do deals in West Virginia than New York, probably.
I wouldn't put West Virginia on this list.
What about Virginia?
It's so freaking mountainous, and it's like it's pretty slow. I mean,
Virginia's kind of
it's
you
one
would
of
put
the
them above
smallest
New York,
states.
though.
What?
I wouldn't put them anywhere below New York, though, in my opinion.
Yeah, but New York's not on this list.
I have New York as like the 3rd tier right now. I don't want to cross out everything right now. So I have Georgia, Tennessee.
I don't think New York's going to make this list because we have a lot
don't either.
right now in second tier. But yeah, I'd put maybe West Virginia kind of like in New York, but I don't like West Virginia.
And Virginia right there as well.
No, Virginia's above that.
Really?
Yes.
With North Carolina and PA?
I would put West Virginia put like more of a 4th tier probably, and Virginia would be like a 2 to 3. Virginia might be 2. Like people crush it in Virginia.
Got it. All right, cool. Let's scoot over to that Midwest area, Dan. We have Ohio. We have Kentucky. We're going to call Kentucky there just because they're bordering each other. We have Ohio. We have Kentucky. We have Indiana. And let's go Michigan.
I think we can eliminate Indiana.
Okay.
I think Ohio. What do you think about Ohio?
I think Ohio's right there with North Carolina and Pennsylvania, personally.
Yeah, I do too.
So
I would do Ohio
right
before Pennsylvania personally, but they're both pros. Ohio has good land.
I think Kentucky's right there too, honestly.
Kentucky's there. Yeah,
It's above New York and Virginia in my mind, personally.
correct. But I don't know if
below?
it's tier 1.
I'm not saying tier 1. Tier 1 is locked in Georgia, Tennessee, South Carolina.
Yes.
Tier 2 is North Carolina, PA, and Ohio. Do we put Kentucky a little below that?
Yeah, I think we can put it on that list. I think Kentucky has been nice.
All right. What about Michigan? A little below?
Michigan's good.
I like Michigan too. I don't know a ton
But
about.
I wouldn't put Michigan. I'd put Michigan right with Kentucky-ish.
All right, let's do that. That list, that second tier is getting big. All right, Indiana is getting booted, guys. So right now we have first tier locked in, at least for now, Georgia, Tennessee, South Carolina. Second tier, I have North Carolina, Pennsylvania, Ohio, Kentucky, and Michigan. Maybe because we haven't done a ton of Michigan, but Michigan's got some. I just haven't enjoyed flipping land in Michigan.
I agree with you.
I'm pushing that down to New York and Virginia. Mm-hmm. All right, cool.
Do we
so
think
over
we
there,
can lock
Dan.
any in right now that we have? We only have 3 locked in.
Correct. We have a lot more of the country. That's why I'm being careful. Wisconsin, Minnesota. Yeah, let's do Wisconsin, Minnesota together. That's kind of our next question mark. People are doing really, really well in both of these states. I think if we're talking about beginners, Dan, is that kind of beginners? Like I probably wouldn't put either of these in there for beginners. There's a lot of nuance in these states. We have some of our very, very experienced land flippers who are doing very high level deals, especially in Michigan or especially in Wisconsin. A lot of people who are making money in Minnesota, who have done deals in Minnesota historically, have become like experts on wetlands, are making money flipping wetlands properties because it is such a wet state.
Yeah, I wouldn't put these in the top, but I do
Okay.
think there's a lot of opportunity there.
Okay, I'm going to move those down like by the West Virginia. I think there's a ton of opportunity, but if you're talking about beginning, starting off, I'm going to move those down.
Yeah, I'm just talking about like average land mixed with how fast it sells, mixed with the ease of doing business there and desirability, just kind of everything as one.
Okay. Around those states, Iowa, we crossed off last time. It's one of the worst states, we believe. I think it might have been in our bottom 10.
It was.
It was in our bottom 10, so we're not going to talk about that. I think we can loop in, so Louisiana, same thing, we marked off there. I think we can kind of loop in Missouri, Arkansas, Oklahoma, Dan. And these 3 states are very different. Arkansas, in my opinion, people have made good money in Arkansas. I think it's
Missouri,
too slow.
what? Arkansas?
Missouri, Arkansas, Oklahoma. Mm-hmm. Arkansas, I just think is too slow of a state.
I agree. I wouldn't put it in the top 10.
Yeah, I definitely don't think
But
it's
it's
in the
not
top 10.
deep down. Like, you can do a lot of deals there. Ever wondered how land investing can be the fastest path to financial freedom? I break it all down in my new book, One Lot at a Time. I'll show you exactly how to find, buy, and flip land for huge profits without dealing with houses, tenants, or any crazy renovations. It's simple. This is the book that I wish I had when I first started. If you're ready to take control of your financial future, grab a copy now. One Lot at a Time by Daniel Apke. Find it at your local bookstore or on Amazon.com.
So Missouri is an interesting one. It's a non-disclosure state. One of the things that keeps Missouri, in my opinion, off of this list is it is an insanely high HOA state, like 5 acres rural. For some reason, HOAs were made all over Missouri. We've made money in Missouri. We've had a lot of people make really good money in Missouri. It's hard for me to say because you pull 5,000 records in Missouri, you might have 1,000 of those that are in an HOA. Just from like I just think it makes it much more difficult. And you also have some really rural areas that don't do well.
Yeah, I think it's more than that makes it not attractive for me. I just think from what we see, the success there hasn't been there for me.
All right. Let's keep Oklahoma away from this. So let's talk Oklahoma, Texas. So above Oklahoma, guys, Kansas, Nebraska, South Dakota, and North Dakota. Those were all in the question for bottom 10. I think 2 of them were in there. So watch that. We're not going to talk about those here. Oklahoma, Texas. I love both of these states.
Yeah, it's hard to say that
I would lock both of these in personally. I think the
I would
quality
100%
of land.
lock Texas in. Oklahoma.
100% lock Texas in?
Yes. You have
and
so
again,
much
we talked about this last episode. Texas is, there's a lot of areas in Texas you should not do this business, but there are so many areas where you can make so much money. There are 8-figure businesses, flipping businesses, subdividing businesses that are being done solely in Texas.
Yeah, Oklahoma has a good chance too. I think we keep it right there.
You would put Oklahoma in that second tier? I think Oklahoma's above it, but
keep it right there. Let's keep
I have
going,
Oklahoma, North Carolina, Pennsylvania, Ohio, and Kentucky all in that second tier currently. I get those could all end up in, honestly, Dan.
I know. That's why I want to keep going. Like, you talked to me and you asked me, would I rather send marketing to Oklahoma or Ohio? I'm going to say 50-50. I like Ohio.
Yeah, I do too. I would. Those are the top 2 as far as that are not.
I think we can lock
currently.
both those in.
Okay, so we're going to lock in Oklahoma and Ohio into this first tier. So we have Georgia, Tennessee, South Carolina, Texas, Oklahoma, and Ohio all locked in as the top 10. We have 3 that are second tier: North Carolina, Pennsylvania, Kentucky. We will still talk about those. Yeah, we don't have a lot of states left, Dan, to be honest with you. So we have up north, we have Wyoming, Idaho, Oregon, and Montana. All were in our bottom 10, or they were in our bottom 10, or they were in discussion. So we're going to cross those off, all different reasons. Just not a good place to do this business. We have New Mexico, Arizona, Utah, Colorado, Dan. And we can even throw Nevada in there. For me, definitely cross out Nevada, New Mexico, and Utah. Utah was in a conversation for bottom 10, I believe.
Yeah, I agree with crossing all those off for sure.
Colorado, Arizona. A lot of people do a lot of business. As far as what we do,
it's not what we do. It's what we see in our, like, the people we're around.
And land flipping in general, correct?
Yeah, what we're seeing, yes. I don't like looking at our business because we have thousands of other people who have come through. Like, this is based off the success of people, not us.
No, I'm not saying our business. What we see in terms of, our students, everything like that.
I think we can cross Arizona
when
off.
I say our business, I'm saying the style of land flipping that we do.
Yeah, I'm just saying land investing in general. I don't even think the style needs to matter. I just think that's not the best opportunity to buy and flip land. And yes, you can get a lot of deals and make a lot of money for sure.
Colorado and Arizona, you're saying?
I would cut them all off. All that, that whole area.
Nevada, Utah, Colorado, Arizona, New Mexico, all not in the
Eliminated.
top 10. So we have 2 states left, Dan.
3.
Which ones?
California, Oregon, Washington.
Oregon we crossed off. That was in the bottom.
Oh, correct. So now we have California, Washington.
California, Washington. Go ahead.
I was just going to say Washington we can cross off. I think there's good opportunity. We've made a lot of money there. I've seen a lot of people make money there. It's a little more complex, though. California is an interesting one, Ron.
I love California for this business. I mean, yeah, if you talk about
San
like
Bernardino.
the taxes. I'm talking about like all the other things you have to deal with around doing this business there, like doing business in California in general. Like there's a lot of things you have to deal with. We had an employee who was based out of California, like just a lot of stuff. But that being said, as far as opportunity to get deals, flip deals, I mean, I have a hard time
definitely
not
up there.
Yeah.
It's a big state. It's like Texas. There's just too much opportunity, too many different landscapes.
I agree. I think this is like the ones that we locked in, guys: Georgia, Tennessee, South Carolina, Texas, Oklahoma, Ohio. I honestly think those are the top 6. Like if we're going to probably end up putting California in here, those top 6 are probably, those 6 that I just mentioned are probably the top 6, even though we weren't trying to do it in order. But I think we can put California in here, Dan.
How many do we have?
So we have California. If I put California in here, so if I put California on the second tier, we only have 4 on the second tier, Dan. So we have 6 locked in, and then we have California, North Carolina, Pennsylvania, and Kentucky on the second tier. That actually would add up to 10.
Okay, so Tennessee, Georgia, South Carolina, Ohio's locked in now. Texas, Oklahoma's locked in, and then we have 4 more. I think we got to lock in California.
Okay, so let's lock in California. Let's just go through this list just to make sure, because we do have 3 on. We went through this, and we do have 3 on the second tier that theoretically would make 10. So we have 7 locked in for now: Georgia, Tennessee, South Carolina, Texas, Oklahoma, Ohio, California. And then we had 3 on the second tier: North Carolina, Pennsylvania, and Kentucky. Do we have any hesitations on those 3? Because if we don't, we can lock those in and we can be done here.
You said North Carolina. What else?
Pennsylvania and Kentucky. In my opinion, I think North Carolina
I like those states. I think Pennsylvania, North Carolina, you can lock in. Pennsylvania, lock in.
Kentucky.
Kentucky's a question mark for me.
There's a lot of bad land in Kentucky. Okay, so let's lock in those 2. That's going to put us at 9, and we can talk here for a minute about our last spot here. So we have Georgia, Tennessee, South Carolina, Texas, Oklahoma, Ohio, California, North Carolina, Pennsylvania. We do have Kentucky on the second tier, but we also on the third tier have Missouri, Arkansas, Michigan, New York, and Virginia. You talked a lot about Virginia, Dan. I'm going to move that up side by side. Is there anyone else we want to talk about head-to-head against Kentucky?
We got New York against Kentucky.
Michigan.
You got Michigan against Kentucky.
I'm going to put that up there, too. And then I'm also going to throw Wisconsin up here, Dan.
You got Mississippi against Kentucky.
I love West Virginia, Dan.
You got Mississippi against Kentucky, though?
Oh, we have Mississippi and Alabama. I think that kind of, you said top 15 when we talked about those 2 states, but I'm going to throw that up there. So we're actually going to end up having, because we thought we were going to end up with some more. And again, guys, you can do this business anywhere. We are trying to find what we've seen from our students. We've taught a lot of people the barriers to doing deals in these states. So we have Mississippi, Alabama, Kentucky, Virginia, Michigan, Wisconsin as potential for this 10th spot here. Any that you want to cross out there, Dan? In my opinion, I moved Wisconsin up from pretty low. Do you want to get that back out of there?
Yeah, I think Wisconsin, honestly. Yeah, Wisconsin, get out.
For a beginner, I think. We talked about that already. So I actually
Mississippi. Mississippi's the one that's standing out to me.
Really? For what reasons?
Experience. Success.
Our experience?
Ours and students.
There's hurdles, though. Like I talked about when we talked about the worst states, like one of the issues with Mississippi is a lot of dead people own land where it just deed-wise, like stuff becomes, but if you're just about opportunity, like the ability to make money.
Talking about making money.
You also have I understand that, but you also have some really, really slow counties. Like there is a pocket of counties in a lot of states, Dan, there's a pocket of 3 or 4 counties that make a ton of sense. But and that's the same thing. Like you go into middle Mississippi, you're going to have some struggles.
Yeah.
And that's why I can't believe believe you're like you just hate Alabama, huh?
Alabama can be in conversation here, but if you're looking at Kentucky and Alabama, I'd take Kentucky.
Okay. So
What would you do?
yeah, probably. Eastern Kentucky is rough.
Yeah, but we're not talking East. And there's multiple big cities there. And like
And we're talking
Alabama,
about
what the
Kentucky.
hell do you have in Alabama? Kentucky, you have at least Lexington, Louisville.
No, I mean you have Morgan County. I think that's Huntsville. Like you do have some.
Yeah, but those are
really
small. You got actually decent sized cities in Kentucky.
Huntsville,
That's
Louisville,
small.
Lexington. Yeah.
But yeah, that's
Birmingham.
besides the point. I mean, Alabama we have had a lot of revenue there in sales and profit.
A lot of all these states other than Virginia, like our business personally, we've done a lot of deals. Virginia, we have not. I don't know enough about Virginia for me to put this in. For me, I would knock Virginia down. I know at least for beginners, I think there's a lot going on there, Dan.
Yeah, and where?
Virginia.
I think so too.
Okay, so we have Kentucky, Alabama, Mississippi. We also have Missouri down there and New York, Dan. No interest in those, huh? As well as Arkansas.
New York, not in the top 10.
This is a tough
New
one.
York has some
We
good
have our
land,
top
too.
12 here, I think, pretty clearly. We're trying to get top 10 for you guys. But
I would take Missouri out probably. I think it comes down to Alabama or Kentucky.
and not Mississippi. You were high in Mississippi in a
No, I think
second.
we can get rid of Mississippi. It's also non-disclosure, right?
Yes.
Makes it difficult. I would get rid of Mississippi, Alabama, and Kentucky. Don't you think it comes down to that?
That's fair.
What else would you put?
No, I think that's fair. Kentucky's got a lot of farmland too. Alabama's got a lot of landlocked properties.
Like you cut Kentucky in half and you take that western side, I'd take that.
It's not a lot of parcels, but yeah, you can definitely. It's very efficient for marketing because there's not a ton of parcels, and we've historically done really, really well. Alabama historically has taken more marketing to get deals, so maybe we take that into account. And we've had some, like the nice thing about Dan's talking about Western Kentucky, central to Western Kentucky, is land moves really, really fast. Like there, you will sell land.
Like,
And
think of
even
Grant
northern, when
County
you're talking
and
about greater
stuff.
Cincinnati area, like we own 40 acres an hour south of Cincinnati in Kentucky, and it's 40 acres for $300,000. Like that's what the price is there. Like it's a decent sized price.
It's an hour away from a city. Like you
I like
also,
Kentucky.
we didn't take that into account. You have the two cities there, and you also border Cincinnati, so it's another. Like you go an hour outside, and you're in Grant County. Ron, Kentucky land is hot. Like people want Kentucky land.
I'm good locking that in, I think, Dan, unless you have any hesitations.
I think it's a fast market, and I think if you're in the right areas, like northern Kentucky, central around those areas. Like think of Shelby, Kentucky, and all these different areas. I feel like it's been really, really good experience.
So we can lock that in. I agree.
And then Alabama would be 11th.
Yep. Alabama, Mississippi, right on the border. So let me go over these top 10. Again, this is not in order. The first 6 will be the ones that were definitely the easiest to lock in. Georgia, Tennessee, South Carolina, Texas, Oklahoma, Ohio, California, North Carolina, Pennsylvania, Kentucky. There's your top 10. On the border was Alabama first. Then we had like Mississippi, Virginia, Michigan, Wisconsin, Missouri, Arkansas, New York, Minnesota, West Virginia, kind of that tier. So we actually probably have a top 20 if you kind of look at how we did it, guys.
Yeah, well, look at the ones we haven't, or look at the ones we talked about on the episode of not to do, and we listed off like 15 plus, and then look at this episode, and then anything outside of those, it's probably somewhere in the middle, and you can hit them still. But like you said, you can do this really anywhere. We didn't talk about Alaska, Hawaii. I'd stay away from those.
Continental.
Yeah, continental. But yeah, I think we're in a good spot.
Is that what it's called?
No, lower 48.
I don't know, but the 48 states, they know what we're talking about. Cool, guys. Let us know, again, in the comments. Let us know if we're wrong. Let us know your opinion. If you want to, how about you guys grade these in the top 10, like what these actually are, 1 through 10. Let us know in the comments if there's anything that you would change. Please let us know in the YouTube comments. Other than that, guys, thank you so much for watching. Hit the subscribe button. Share this with a friend. Leave us a review on Spotify or Apple. Let's get 5 or 10 reviews from this episode. Thank you so much. We'll see you guys next time.
Thanks for joining, guys.